Hello. We are live. Thank you so much for coming on, Miss Sarah Watt.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for that beautiful singing introduction. I love hearing you sing.
It is so wonderful to have you here because I think I wrote about it. Like, I've just watched you explode your life over the past wee while. Like, it's a bit different to even 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's a very different to like 6 months ago even, but 2 years, like wow, that I don't even remember what I was doing 2 years ago, to be honest. I do if I really try.
Yeah,
I definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what I'd really like to talk with, because this is about, like, I'm bringing people on who inspire me and who I see creating something really different in the world, and how they're doing that. And also, you know, like, what is different about you? Like, what is different about Sarah Watt? And what do you bring that just sparks? Like, I can't even start to speak about that without getting a really naughty grin.
I like it. I like it. I hope I have that reaction with a lot of people.
Because you have this amazing...
Oh, they're a little friends.
Good. Oh, we've got a bit of Bali stop and start going right this minute, so let's just get the internet. We'll just be with that for a sec. You can do it. Can you hear me?
It's so funny when people say,
very.
Can you hear me? I hear you when you said, can you hear me?
Yeah. It's
you've got some internet. I can hear you now.
We've got some internet stuff going on. Very well before. So whatever that is, bring it on in. Okay. So, Miss Sarah, what is it that's different about you?
That's such a cool question. And you know what? Like, I would love to be able to tell you. And I also get that probably changes every single day. Like, you know, at the moment, like if you ask me, like to answer you right now, I'm definitely playing with a lot at the moment about being undefined and not living from definition. And I guess, like, if I look back over things, it's probably a place that I've often, like, created and existed from. And now with the things that, especially that I've been playing with the tools of access consciousness and some of the classes and telecalls I've been doing, specifically there was a call this morning that I've just been listening to over and over today that is talking about definition. And that is just, for me, something that really kind of is very simple. And when I look at it, I guess that's where I really enjoy creating my life from, is a place of like not ever having two things the same, and really just going for what's going to create more for me and to come from a place of having fun in my life. It's kind of a weird question to answer, really, because it's something that I guess maybe other people could tell me more than what I could tell about myself. I guess I've just always been a little bit different. Like, I remember my brother talking about me, like, we had a conversation, which has been in my awareness as well recently, where he was saying as a child how weird I was, like how I was, you know, in this reality weird. Like, I've always been happy to just go off and do my own thing, and I didn't really care if I had a lot of friends or not many friends. And that's something else that I've probably been looking at a lot lately as well, is how, I guess, how different I am. So it's a really cool question. I don't know how I am different, but I know I am different. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think even just some of the things you've said there actually do say something. Like that's a very different way of living, is from a space that's not defined.
Yeah. Yeah.
It also takes quite a dose of courage to choose that as well, because it goes grain of everything that we're taught as well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And at times it's super uncomfortable as well. Like, and at times I try, it's almost like I do that thing where you have those moments where you just go for what's comfortable or what you know from childhood or what you see other people doing. And they're the times when everything stops and everything gets uncomfortable and I stop creating, and then the minute I'm willing to just step out of it and take those really small steps and choose like every moment what's going to work for me and what's going to be fun and what's going to create my future, then everything is like, my body is happier, like my space is bigger, everyone around me seems a lot happier as well. So yeah, it's a funny thing because I think it's sometimes easy to slip into those definitions and those roles, and that's when it becomes the most uncomfortable. So if you're willing to just have those moments of uncomfortability, oh man, it creates so much more when you're stepping into just choosing in really small increments. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so totally with you, and I get that is a really useful piece of information. You know, that it doesn't have to be big steps; that it can actually be really small.
Yeah.
And make choices a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And something that really pops for me is that, you know, that defining what is uncomfortable. You know, we have these definitions of what is uncomfortable, and in this reality, it tends to always be with a judgment of that there is something wrong if it is uncomfortable as well.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, I think I might have lost you for a moment.
It's so I can hear you sing.
How frustrating. What else is possible?
I'm still here. I don't know if everyone else can still hear me or not, but Delany's kind of frozen, so I don't know how this works. If you're out there and you're watching still, hi. Delany's face is frozen. So I'm not sure if it's her connection or my connection or what's going on in internet land. I'll take a sip of water.
Okay.
Oh, you're back. I hear you again.
Sarah, are you there?
I'm here.
Here am I. There she is.
Oh, you're back.
Oh. Yeah, sorry about that, honey.
That's okay. It looks really clear now, though, so whatever you did worked.
Yeah. Because I'm like, and it's like, I was really loving the conversation. So, what, I don't know if you got to hear what I was saying, just that thing about where we even define what uncomfortability is.
Yeah.
You know, we have those judgments and projections that something that is uncomfortable is in fact bad.
Yep.
And that's not even real, is it?
No, not at all. And I usually find I am most uncomfortable right before something huge is about to open up and change in my life, like before a huge amount of space is about to open up or something big's about to change. So I've actually really come to love those moments where everything's just a little weird. And thank God, we've got things in this world like the access bars where we can, lay down and do this crazy stuff where we just touch some points on our head and change and open up all this space and help facilitate that change and having more ease in our world and in our bodies. But yeah, uncomfortable and uncomfortability to me is like it's part of everything. It's part of what creates change. So
yeah.
And I've had times in my life too where I've totally chosen to just be comfortable all the time. Like I can remember back to when I was in, my early 20s and, it was choosing that path that, this reality tells us we choose, where you go a certain way and you do a certain thing. And in a lot of ways it was comfortable, but then you always know that there's something greater. And if you're one of those people that is like me, you're a seeker, there's something greater out there, that becomes uncomfortable, but it's a different kind of uncomfortable. It's that uncomfortable of like, oh, I'm dying. This is like death. Like everything's so slow. And now uncomfortable means shit's changing, shit's about to change, like things are moving really fast. And yeah, so it's those places where, like you say, putting a definition around something where if you were just willing to create from that space and not conclude and not go to definition, then anything's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things that you talk about there as well as the bars, which we know as an amazing body process that's just I've actually just been having my implant band run just before this, and that's just gives such a glorious space. Also, choice. You talked about choice.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you talk about how much that has changed and how you operate with choice now?
Yeah. So I still am only like, I guess I have a lot more awareness of what true choice is now. Like previously choice was like, well, I don't even really know how I used to choose. And now it's like, and this is something that changes every day too. Like you've really caught me at this time in my life right now to talk about this sort of stuff where it's like every 10 seconds something changes and something is totally different for me. So plus this call I was just talking about is this one Dane's doing called Lose Your Mind. So we were just in call 2 of 3 calls today. And this call has been like, I've been exploring this stuff for about 7 years now. And this stuff opened up a space that is like really still, I'm in that process of like, so I apologize. My words are kind of like a little, there's not a lot going on between here and here, but choice now is definitely about what's going to create the future that I want to see in this world and the future that I want to see for myself. And it's not necessarily about doing like, okay, I got it. So previously to me, choice was to do something. So to choose was to do this, choose A, choose B, choose whatever. It's either this or it's that. Now choice to me is a state of being. It's something where in every moment, like, I was at the beach before and there were these people there that had this real energy of like, they were tradies, they were drinking, and there was this real kind of unkindness in their world. And I was at the beach with someone and we stood there and like just like we were present with each other and we were really present in the moment and we were present with the environment and the earth and everything going on around us. And I included those people that were sort of there in that choice of being, like that state of being I was being. And oh my God, Delany, it was like the fucking coolest thing ever. Their whole energy changed. Like when we walked past them to leave the beach, these guys had softened, their energy was totally different. That to me is true choice, a choice where in every moment you are being something that is going to create what the way you want to see the world. And choice to me is about including everything and not cutting off, not like I'm going to fuck you, you guys are assholes, you know, you don't exist to me, or like, you know, it was about that whole thing of everything being part of creation and everything being part of that moment. Yeah. And that, I guess, is what I choose.
And so
we're back.
we're back. We're back. It's like, so what did you do with those people and the rest of the planet that when you were actually just your story?
Well, I included everything, and I had no barriers up to anything. And, you know, it was just one of those moments where I would have used to have been in this funk of like being aware of their energy and letting it impact on me in a way where I needed to either defend myself or sort of direct something at them where I'm like, I don't agree with you, or whatever it was. And I was just like, no, I'm going to enjoy this moment, and I'm going to include everything around me in what I believe is the energy of like, of true being and creation and choice. And it changed. Yeah. So I don't know what you guys heard or what kind of got cut off, but it was just this thing that changed absolutely everything. And it was a choice in that moment to be that and to include everything and to be vulnerable and to not have my barriers up. And that, I guess, is, if I was to define choice right now, that is what choosing is to me and what choice is to me.
No, that's amazing. Can I ask you, like, were you aware of a change in their reality as well?
Oh, big time. Like I did, yeah. When we left the beach, they were sitting right beside the little path out, the exit. And it was this softness, and it was something that it was like a 180 from when I walked in and walked past them initially. And like, even I could hear them while we were in the surf swimming, and then to when we walked past them to leave. And I didn't talk about it. Like I was there with Victor, and I didn't mention it to him. I didn't say anything. It was just something that I chose in the moment. And I just got a sense of like how much change that choice in that moment created for them, even though they're probably never going to be aware of that. But that's where I guess now I'm starting to see what true choice is. Yeah.
That really excites me. I had a similar awareness a few days ago. I was doing a video for this class that I'm running at the moment, and it was around the 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And I was telling the story that Dane tells, about Gary Douglas was, there's a homeless guy on the street asking for change.
Yeah.
And Gary Douglas is asking him if he actually really wants change.
Yep.
And then delivered this energy of change to him. And Dane was watching it and could perceive that.
Yep.
That energy that rippled out. And in the moment as I was telling that story and then doing these 1, 2, 3s, I became aware of, just exactly what you were talking about.
Yep.
That this goes so much bigger, and every choice, every action that we make, that we choose, actually reverberates so far beyond just us.
Yep. And if you're willing to include everyone and everything in the choices that you make, and it's not a matter of, I need to consider their feelings, or I need to, before I do this, I need to think about, it's just that sense of communion and including everything in that, and being an invitation for people then to recognize it or not recognize it, and not having a point of view. Like, I don't really care what those people choose in their life, but if I can be an energy where people may see and perceive something is different, is available in this world to be different and to have something different, then that to me is like that's my aim. That's what I want to choose every day, every 10 seconds to be, and to be in this world. Yeah.
To really be in it.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a real difference with being in it and just like moving across the planet.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's when you use the word communion, you know, like that's the stuff that gets, like I can even see the color in my face and everything change.
Yeah.
You know, at that, you know, that thing where there isn't, we're not putting up walls to separate from each other. And yet we're not also, something else that you said, we're not trying to force other people to behave or choose or see a particular thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that space where when we choose that and we be that, it actually makes it easier for us, for ourselves as well.
Fuck yeah. That's definitely the point. And that's the other part to it, that it's like, well, if it's going to create more ease and more fun for me as well, like, why don't I want to be around more happy people than angry, aggressive people? And if I can be me and create that change, then, you know, why wouldn't I, sort of thing? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that enthusiasm for living.
Exactly. Yep.
And that's something that, like, not that you didn't have any enthusiasm when I first met you, but like, you know, that energy of enthusiasm for living now is like off the Richter.
Yeah. And it increases every day, Delany. Like, it's one of those things where, you know, every day it's something that I demand of myself to choose more. And again, that's where this thing where we're talking about what true choice is, that's for me, again, is what choosing is all about. Like, every day it's something that I'm totally present with and am asking for more of. And being aware of when I'm choosing not that and choosing things that aren't going to create that, and then choosing to change it as well. And yeah. So I'm glad you asked me that question.
Can I also ask
a heap of awareness about what choice is to me? So thank you. That was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you too. It's a contribution to me, and I'm sure anybody too. Something, because I mean, I know you've got a body thing coming up, and you have this gift and awareness with bodies as well.
Yeah.
And can you talk a little about, you know, how you use that communion, that connection with your body and that awareness with your body to create this kind of life that you're living?
For sure. And again, like, this is something that every day, like, I was having a conversation last night where this came up, and it's something that I'm learning about and getting more and more awareness about. And it's something that I am also demanding to be more present with and be more aware of and include more. And it's really, for me, a few things with my body and with everybody's body is having being really present with my body and being really aware of it in every moment and not switching off. And also the other piece to it that I've really noticed recently has become really prevalent is including the earth and including what this earth is, what it's willing to contribute to us, what it requires us to contribute to it, and how much our bodies and the earth actually have such a similarity in the way that they function, in as much as, like, our bodies are space. They don't have a point of view. They don't, you know, they want to exist and be in communion with everyone and everything. They want to be happy. They want to be, you know, do joyful things that make them joyful, just like the earth does. And having like a constant kind of communion with what's going on the earth and asking for that contribution as well has been a huge part of it. And animals is the other thing as well. So, like, there's kind of like three parts to it, really. And a lot of this has come up for me really recently. I actually met and purchased a horse when I was in Costa Rica a couple of weeks ago, a Costa Rican horse, a Costa Sense de Paso, which is like a breed that they breed in Costa Rica. And that whole process and having time with this animal that is just everything that I envisioned having with myself and my body, that gave me all this awareness of what's truly possible. And like, if we're willing to be at just how much our bodies can be a constant source of awareness, creation, and contribution.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally there with you on that. It's part of my, like, it's it's daily now. My connection and communion with my body grows, and also the gratitude. And you know, when you talk about the contribution and that connection with the planet, you know, because that is something really different. And the whole joy factor, you know, I know a few years back I was in New Zealand and on the way up to Chateau Tongariro, and I became aware, like we were near an area where there was a whole bunch of logging going on, and this particular, you know, it was that thing because New Zealand's so lush, and to see this area just decimated, you know, and I could feel that, like I was aware of that. I could sense that in the land there, and I started to tear up, and then I asked what was required.
Cool.
And it was joy. It was totally joy and laughter.
Yeah.
That's what was required. It blew my mind. It was so clear. It was so strong that that is one of the greatest gifts that our body gives us. That's what I'm finding is it will give, if we're willing to listen to it, it tells us what's required.
Yep, and it tells us about absolutely everything, like everything that pertains to it. If we're willing to ask and listen, it will tell you. Yeah. It's totally the magic of that and the gift of that and the ease of that. It takes it out of a lot of guesswork and trying to fit, you know, because there is so much information coming at us from so many people, so many places all of the time. And the more that we can actually have that communion with our bodies, and you know, that brings ease, because we know that acoustic vibration that we be, that space that you talked about being on the beach with your barriers down and including everything and everyone and not being in judgment of everything, just actually being that space. And that is, you know, that is where the joy is, that is where the peace is, and that is where we can have all the information that our bodies are giving us. Yep. And it makes the things, exactly. And it makes the enjoyable things way more enjoyable. And it makes the things that were not so enjoyable before way more enjoyable. So like things that I used to love, like riding a horse or going to the gym or like doing things with my body that involve my body, now are like 5 billion times better because I actually include my body in what I'm doing, rather than it just being like, I'm going to take you off to the gym. I'm going to take you off to, you know, ride this horse, and it being like this thing of like almost steering the ship or being in control of something. And now having this thing where like I ask it, like what would be fun for you, and like including the energy of everyone and everything around me as well is something that's really I've noticed how playful my body enjoys being, and it really likes being that playful energy when it's involved in whatever's going on.
Can you hear me? Oh, yeah.
God, Bali's like Western Australia. It's funny.
It is. Anyway, God, can you go to what you were saying before we were cut off, or has that all gone now?
No. We were talking about. Well, I was really talking about just when you. Are you frozen again? I can see your hand.
Oh
no, maybe it's working.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's so
Are
funny.
we? Yes, we are. Sorry, I'm just like, okay, the internet, are you working with us? Are you working with us? So I think it is. We'll,
Yeah.
moving right along.
We'll see what
So
happens.
yeah, we will. I'm just wondering what's next, Sarah? What
Awesome
is
question.
next?
Yeah.
What's next?
Like I could tell you physically what I'm doing. Like we're about to go on a big trip to Europe. I'll be in Europe for the whole
Yes.
month of July, and I'm working on some classes with Simone Milasas in Paris and in Venice, and exploring some of Sweden and Stockholm with Victor, and who knows what else. We're going to London. So like there's all that really exciting stuff, which I'm fucking super excited about. And this place that I've been looking at and that's opened up in the last couple of days is like I'm so excited to see what change starts happening beyond that as well. And what it's almost like, yeah, what next is me stepping into way more of everything and having way more fun, creating as much as I can, and really playing with like all these energies that we've been talking about. Like this is so new to me. This is stuff that's literally been showing up quite full on in the last week or so. And I don't really know what that's going to create for me or for the world. And it's that thing of being undefined. I don't really have a definition of what's going to happen next. I know whatever I'm doing, I'll be having a lot of fun and hanging out with some fucking cool and amazing people that are creating some really cool shit and changing the world. And, beyond that, it's just like really I'm making it up as I go along and what else is possible. And yeah.
Yeah. And like I just see it as that is the thrill of it all. And also like it is undefinable. And there is this energy of all of that is great and all of the travel is awesome and all of that is fun. And then there is this this undefinable, and whatever the hell that is and whatever it is we're creating and being with the world with that just fills me with such joy. And I am so grateful for what you're creating, how you're doing that. The inspiration and the care. You are such an amazing, caring person. The care that you're giving to so many people, sharing with so many people across the planet is just a beautiful thing, Sarah White.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm just grateful for everyone that's willing to look at there being a different possibility in the world and, looking at every moment what they could choose to create something greater for themselves and greater for this world and for the future. And, what I would really love is to just enjoy and have total joy in every moment of my life and really just have that sense of like peace and space with me all the time and look at what that might change and create for this earth and for other people and for the future.
Keep on going. You're on your way, sister.
I will.
And I would love to get you on again when a little bit further after Europe, after your little Europe adventure, if you would, and more about creation and what's going on that's different.
And I will quickly mention now that you've said that, it's kind of opened up something else when you ask what next. Well, I'm actually willing now to start I guess talking more about this sort of stuff. For the past, I've gone through a fucking lot of change in the last 2 years, and most of it I've done just doing it by myself. I have the people I work with. I work for Access Consciousness full time. I work for Simone. I work for Brendan. I travel the world. I do all of these things that are so fucking awesome and cool. but I've never really taken it to a space of it being where I can talk about it with other people and facilitate and like look at using what I know and like what I'm aware of to maybe assist other people or to create more change in the world. So what next as well is that I desire to step into more of being present with what I can create engaging with other people. Yeah. Rather than just doing it all like, you know, working and doing things and being on my computer, about really getting out there and engaging with more people and seeing what that creates in the world as well.
That really makes me happy, and thank you.
My pleasure.
Carry on. And I cannot wait to meet up with you somewhere on the planet this year. Right. It will be. Yeah. It's in the cards.
Awesome.
It's in the, well, it's going to be reality. So thank you for being an allowance of the internet.
My pleasure. I've had so much fun, and anytime, I love this sort of stuff. Please, I would love to jump on another one or something else. You're an awesome person, Delany, and I'm so grateful for you asking me to do this, and grateful for everything that you're being and creating in the world as well.
Thank you, my love. What else is possible? We will talk again very, very soon. I can't wait.
I can't wait. Yes.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.